Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys in a Ride, and today we're out here in Granite Falls, Minnesota, and we're here at Fagen Fighters World War II Museum, and we're here with Evan. And we're doing a number of the aircraft and some of the other vehicles that are here today. But right behind us is I believe a P40-E Warhawk.
Yep, that's right.
All right, known as, in this particular paint scheme, as a Desert Shark.
Right.
Let's start with the engine that it has, because, and we'll overlay some video, I believe you actually have an engine that's on display.
We have an Allison engine that's very close to what's in here, right next to it on display. Yep.
Okay, so let's walk over there for a minute so we can kind of take a look at it. And I can't tell you how fun it is to walk through and actually see these. Now these are working aircraft.
Yes, they're all.
You fly them.
Yep.
Because you are a pilot.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so this would be very, very similar to what is in the Warhawk.
Right, it's very similar. This is a -113 engine, which is a P38 engine, which is that airplane right next to us. Okay. But it's an Allison V12. The engine in this airplane is a -39, and the dash is just different variants of the 17 of the Allison 1710. Okay. The E model had a -39 in it, which had about 1,200 horse at takeoff. Right. And they're good engines. The P40 wasn't an airplane that went up above 12,000 and had the same amount of manifold pressure as like the P51. Okay. And because it didn't have supercharger on it, to give it more as well. Yep, didn't have as much manifold pressure up high. But down low, the P40 was a very good fighter. You know, when Pearl Harbor was attacked December 7th, the P40 is what the Air Corps at the time is what they call it, which is now the Air Force. The U.S. Army Air Corps had to defend ourselves was the P40. And the P40 was an airplane that was manufactured from the beginning of World War II, before the beginning of World War II, all the way through to the end. It served in all theaters. And it got a really bad rap as a fighter as far as not being very maneuverable. Okay. And not having the same class as like the Zero and the Messerschmitt, but it was a very good fighter, in fact. It towed the line for a long time, and below 12,000 feet, they were very good performing engines as far. Yeah, very good performing airplanes. And you know, they always said they couldn't turn with a Zero and they couldn't dogfight with a Zero and things like that, but in the right hands and in the right pilot, they could hold their own. Okay, let's talk about some of the things that we see on the wings here. So the first thing is this thing that's sticking way out. So what would that have been for? This is an airspeed indicator called a pitot tube. Okay. So the air is forced down into here, and then it indicates on the airspeed indicator the airspeed. So this is a pitot tube right here. Okay. Yep. And of course you would have had lights. Yep, identification lights, nav lights. So when they flew these in battle, did they shut these off? You know, I'm sure they did. I'm sure they weren't having. They didn't have like special camouflage lights or something that you know of. No, but this was like a nav light. So there's a red one and a green one. And green just identifies the like boats do. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Now moving down, you've got an underwing light. Yeah, this is a landing light, and it retracts down. Ah, and so it folds, shines forward like a headlight. It doesn't give you a lot of help, but it's better than nothing. Now, typically, I believe, fuel stored in the wings around these, right? Well, there's a couple different tanks in the P40. There's a reserve tank, a wing tank, and a fuselage tank. Okay. And you access them all from right up here through this fairing. Two of the tanks, the reserve and the wing, and then the red fuel cap in the fuselage is a fuselage tank. Okay. And then this airplane also has a drop tank plumbed, which would go right here. You can see the pucks right here. Okay. They would either carry different types of bombs or a drop tank, and in this case, it's geared for the drop tank. So I'm gonna just take a stab at this, but since it's a drop tank, I'm guessing it was something they used, and then when it was empty, it was dropped. That's right. Yep. They would drop them when they're done using them. So it wasn't necessarily recyclable. They didn't bring it back. No, but they could.
They could, right.
But they didn't.
It would be an extra drag.
Yep, and if a lot of times when they went into combat, they would drop them right away.
Okay.
And you can see the picture. We've had this on here. And,
oh, yeah.
Yep, so.
All right, so but you had to kind of choose between longer range or ordnance.
Right.
All right, tell us about the machine guns that are mounted in the wing here.
Okay, the P40 had this E model had 6 50 caliber Browning machine guns, and you can see them here. And here you see what looks like masking tape. After missions, they'd tape them up, so they'd be covered up. And when you'd come back, you could see they were blown out and spent, which means they had used ammunition.
Okay.
But yeah, they had 6 50 caliber Browning machine guns.
All right, I love the detail, you know, when you wrap like that. But there's actually a reason. It's just not a cap.
Yep.
Okay.
If they came back from their mission and they were sitting like you see now, you'd know there was no ammunition spent.
All right, so this was a one-pilot airplane.
Yep.
Okay, so let's walk back here a little bit and let's take a look at the cockpit. Now, tell us a little bit about the cockpit. So it's a single pilot.
Yep.
And anything unique, you know, as far as technology goes on the gauges? Did he have basic gauges? Did he have sort of a, you know, earliest form of radar or what?
You know, it had basic gauges in it. There's not a lot to it. The P40 is more of a manual type airplane. By that I mean, like in the P51 Mustang, a lot of things are automatic, where in the P40, a lot of things you're manually pumping a hydraulic hand pump. It's more early 1940s technology, so it was a lot more basic than the further advanced fighters. So it was a roomy cockpit, very nice, had good heat, good visibility, very basic as far as controls and a more manual
experience as a pilot.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Like for instance, when the pilot would fire his machine guns, is there just one button that hits all the machine guns at once?
Yep, they all fire in unison.
Okay, and it was just I shouldn't say just, but it was the 3 on the left wing, the 3 on the right wing.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, what was the top speed of something like this? Not on, you know, there's a couple different modes. Let's just say normal mode.
Yep. You know, flying the P40 around, you're probably flying in combat probably around 325 miles an hour. You know, I mean, you can push them faster than that. They can dive a lot faster than that. I mean, nowadays we travel around, we're probably close to flying maybe 200 knots.
Okay.
You never push these engines very hard now. You want to take good care of them. But you can, you know, bring throttles up and get some pretty good speed out of it.
Now, something that some people may not realize is that almost, as far as I think maybe all, at least slightly modern fighter planes from World War II on, have a switch. At least the World War II ones did, where you sort of like in a normal mode you run it, but there was something called
water injection.
Okay, water injection, and you could turn a dial and actually get more power out of the engine for a short, brief period of time?
Yeah, there's a water injection as emergency mode, and you could basically slam the throttle forward and it'd break a safety wire, and it'd get a bunch of horsepower out of the engine for a certain period of time. And it, essentially, if you ran it the whole time, it would destroy the engine.
Literally, I mean, the engine would poof.
Yeah, and I don't know the magic timing with it, but definitely when they came back, if they used it, the engine would be pulled out more than likely if it was still running.
All right, so if they ever did use that and managed to throttle it back within the allotted time, which we think was right somewhere around 15, 20 minutes maybe.
Right.
We're not sure about that. And then, but even then, they'd have to probably replace the engine.
I'm sure they
or at least redo it.
Yep, I'm sure. For the stress that was put on the engine.
Now, how in the world did you get up on this thing? Did they bring a little ladder out here for you to step on?
You just basically grab this handhold here.
Okay.
Bring your leg up.
Holy schmoly.
Pull yourself up. Yep.
You better be a limber.
Yes, you got to be limber to get up on
I can see me doing that, and I'd be stuck there all day.
Yep.
Wow. Now, what is is that actually a mirror?
It's a rear view mirror to check your tail, yep. So if you're flying along, you can check your 6 and see if there's anybody behind you.
That's not a very big mirror.
No, it's not. No, but you can see your tail.
You can see, so you can kind of see if there's another obstacle back there.
Yep.
Okay, compartments. You have one right here.
Yep.
What would that be for?
That's
storage.
Yep, well, it's where your battery is, your electrical, your hydraulic, your control cables. It's your access for the mechanics to go in there and do their inspections and things like that. But now we do use it for storage. If we're going to a show, we can strap our bag in there and stuff like that. But
okay, so
it's really mainly access for maintenance if you're actually going in it for its intended use. To check, make sure everything within that area is as it should be.
Okay.
Yep.
And up on the wing, you've got another, what would this area?
That's your ammo bays.
Ah.
So the armors would go there and they would load the 50 caliber ammunition in there, and then you see these little bolt heads up on top.
Yeah.
That's for actually aiming in your machine guns. It'd be your fine tuning.
Yeah, if it doesn't come across well on camera, I mean, there's actually a screw head.
Right.
Where you can physically twist left or right to.
Yep, and that's when the guys would set them up and sight their guns in. They could adjust them with that.
Okay. And then what are these two?
Those are inspection covers, and basically right there you have control cables for your controls of your ailerons.
Okay.
And they'll open those up so they can make sure your pulley and your cable's not frayed, and kind of, again, annual maintenance and maintenance that you want to look at with these airplanes.
Looking at it from this point of view, is that the gun sight in front of the windshield there?
It is, yes. That is
so at 360 some miles an hour,
yep,
you have a little metal scope.
For this P40, that was the gun sight, yep.
And that's how you're supposed to line up your enemy.
Yep, and there's also computed gun sights, which we have in some of these airplanes models. P40's had some of those too, but this has the
manual sighting.
Manual sighting, yep.
Wow. Coming back this direction,
yep.
What was interesting to me is that the front part here is aluminum.
Yep.
But the back is a wrap.
Yep, it's a fabric.
Okay.
And a lot of times on the fighters, the control surfaces are all fabric. And there are fighters where they are aluminum. But on the P40, the ailerons, the rudders, and the elevators are fabric covered. And that's very common with aircraft.
Do you know why? I mean, was it a difference between the manufacturers who made them, or was it just cost savings, or did they figure it really doesn't matter if it gets holes in it?
No, I know I should know the technical answer. I honestly don't know.
Okay, well, if you're if you're watching this video and you happen to know that answer, let us know in the comments down below. All right, let's walk around this way. All right, so underneath the airplane, you've got two wires sticking out.
Yep.
One in the very back, one in front of the rear tire. So how about the one in the very back? What was that for?
That's a radio antenna.
Okay, and the one in the front?
This is static to...
electricity discharge?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
The P40E that we have here, that you have here today, is a desert color.
Right.
There were other P40Es that were made that were not desert color. So why would this one have been painted a desert color?
Well, this was with the 325th, not this exact airplane, but the plane it's painted as.
Okay.
Which was a desert North Africa-based fighter squadron. And if you come over here, actually, of course you can see the camouflage scheme, but you'll see this American flag underneath the wing.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Which is right here, and these actually took off of the USS RANGER aircraft carrier.
Okay.
For the invasion of North Africa. They didn't land on them, but they loaded these P40s on them, and they took off of the Ranger to North Africa. And when they were on the ship, they had the American flag painted on the fuselage, and then after they were off the ship, they painted them underneath the wing. So that's kind of unique in that they moved the flag under the wing after they were on the ground. But you see the sea blue underneath it.
Yep.
And it's for camouflage. So when you're looking up,
so when you're looking up, you're going to see, it's harder to see because it's blue, like the sky.
Right.
But yet if you're above it and looking down, it's desert color.
And desert color. And then they obviously weren't worried about keeping it too camouflage because of the checker tails.
Right, yeah,
black
I noticed
and
that.
Yellow checkers, which was, the 325th was called the Checker Tail Clan. And that was their marking. So that was what signified the 325th.
Well, Evan, thank you so much again for sharing the story of this P40E here and all the little unique things about it.
Absolutely. Glad we could share it with you.
Thanks for watching.